Welcome everyone to Out on a Limb, the Journal of the Heart's Journey. This is Marcy again, and today my heart really wants to talk about perfection. It's something, I don't even say it's something, it's a characteristic that I have partnered with since, as long as I can remember. And perfection kind of links in with performance and striving all together. So my perfection and my striving and my performance manifested with how I looked and also in how my body was shaped as well as how my body performed. So I grew up as an athlete, playing volleyball and softball and just really loving it. But I was always a little bit heavier when I was younger because I used food as comfort, food to numb, and that's a whole nother video. But because of doing that, I ended up definitely gaining quite a bit of weight when I was younger and never felt that I was the potential of what I could be and also received from other people. So I remember one day just being so sick of being chubby. I remember just feeling horrible by the fact of not even, because it wasn't even being chubby or overweight. It was being dissatisfied with how I was treating myself too. And so what I did, I remember one day just sitting at this graduation party potluck. I was like a freshman in high school and thinking to myself, what would it be like if I would decide to change how I ate and start being more fit, even though I was already a pretty fit individual because I was definitely always involved in activities and moving my body and, playing sports and so forth. So I remember right there and then I made this vow with myself that I would change my diet and actually start eating less and working out a lot more. And so within that time frame of about 3 to 4 months that summer, where I basically cut all my calories down, and then plus ran and exercised a lot where I wasn't really taking in any real calories because they were all being burned through my exercise. And within those short 4 months, I got to be seen. People would talk to me more. People would compliment me more. I felt like the spotlight was on me for one of the first times, and it was because of my body. And so I equaled that a slender, thin, beautiful body in the world, of what the world thinks is beautiful, equaled love, equaled acceptance, equaled being popular, equaled being even more athletic. And so I started to ingrain my mind in this way of thinking, where then actually my brain thought that if I remained thin and athletic, I would be happy for the rest of my life. And I'll tell you that performance started in my body, but then it led into my studies in high school or in college, where all of a sudden it was like I needed more. I needed more. So I started to become addicted to performance and striving and perfection. And the word of addiction is a meaning of you are consumed by it. But then as you start to be consumed by it, the quantity needs to be more, the frequency needs to be more, either one of those. So as I started to realize that my body was kind of the best peak of what it could kind of be, because I was definitely an athlete in college and I ran a lot in college, like half marathon stuff. And so it was like I needed something more to fill that high. And so then I became really ingrained in my studies and needing to be perfectionist in my studies. And that is where I could start to see that I needed my life to go this way and the way that I think it needed to be. Otherwise, I would feel like I fell apart because I built what love was on false ground. on sinking sand. I didn't build it on truth of my identity, of who I was and who I am. And so then I thought that I'm going to go right to grad school, become a doctor of some sort, or just totally have this degree that's going to give me my identity. And it was in some form of, I did my undergrad in exercise science so I could perfect my body, and it was my knowledge because it's everything I consumed. Because anything that you put your time towards and your mind towards, your brain will look for. It literally becomes like, it's pleasure seeking, because otherwise it doesn't want pain seeking. So anything I was wanting to do had to deal with my body, or deal with food, or deal with some sort of education. And then, so then I thought that, I applied to grad school. I got into grad school right away after my undergrad. And I thought, well, then I'm going to get a job. And that's going to be the perfect thing that's going to keep me from pain and just keep me loving myself. And then obviously I'm going to get married, and then I'm going to have kids, and then everything's going to be perfect, right? Reality shock happened in my life, where all of a sudden my body started to do the opposite. And actually, I had this dream and vision that God showed me that my identity was in my studies, was in my degree. I literally had this vision and this dream with him where I was sitting like this little schoolgirl in this desk, all excited. And he was up on the board, like the teacher, and he wrote my name, Marcy Flygar. And he's like, I want you to come up and I want you to tell me who you are. And so I went up and I put like masters in like holistic health, and I wanted to get a PhD in some sort of environmental or physiology section of the world, or of education. And I sat down and I was just like so excited, like this is who I am, this is me, this is Marcy, who I get to project to the world. And all of a sudden he went up there and he took the eraser and he erased everything behind my name. And I remember this like shock to my heart of like, well, then who am I if all of these things aren't me that I've been pursuing? And he put his initials in front of my name. He put God in front of my name. And he goes, life isn't going to get you anywhere. These things are not going to get you stability and love and to be able to project what you know to the world. It's actually going to be my name and what I'm doing in you that's actually going to give love and reality and truth into the world. And I remember waking up from that and being like, what? And I literally went, like, guys, the next week and I quit grad school. I was pursuing holistic health with a focus in nutrition and herbology. And I had enough credits just to kind of do like a part program and getting a certification in the program. And so that's what I took. And I pendulum swung from super performance to perfection in my body and in my studies and in life, all the way to just being like, I don't want any of this. And so that's kind of a story, obviously, but what I want to share is that perfection and performance and striving, guys, whether it's in what you eat, whether it's what you wear, whether it's your friend group, whether it's trying to be a part of a group, like striving to be somebody you're not, or it's getting perfect grades and needing to get perfect grades so you can get that perfect job or perfect body, the underlying aspect is really that you really feel unworthy, and that you're using those things, or I was at least, to cover that void and to numb out anything that I needed to feel. It doesn't mean that I had to give them all up. That's just what I did because I'm pretty drastic in my changes and I'm learning how to even them out. But what I really needed was to be seen, known, and heard in the places that I felt weak. That I actually needed love from God. I needed him to speak to me as my father, and I didn't know that during the time. And I also needed to just really have a good group of friends, and also just really start to learn and have other people speak identity into me and to speak intimacy into me, that I am beautiful and enough just the way that I am, and that I didn't need to use food to numb out either way, whether it was literally binging all the time as a child, or to go extreme opposite where I was hardly eating anything and I was exercising. And so the more that you start these addictions, quote unquote, mine being perfection, performance, and striving, the more that you're going to need to do it more often or in a different form. So like I said, frequency increases and the dose needs to increase. And so I started to drive myself crazy, where literally then, just within this last year, when I had my quarter identity crisis and my body shut down, and I found myself living back at home, 28, with my family and my parents, I had to step back and ask myself, where is my identity and where is my love coming from? So I don't know if this can relate to anyone. I really believe it can, because women oftentimes perform a lot and trying to look like something and be something. And also so do men do, and needing to be, quote unquote, so rough and tough and fit and just hiding their emotions. But guys, know that actually going inward and starting to connect to your heart is where healing really starts to happen. And you're not going to know how to do it. Because when you start to have to face those things, you almost have to toughen up. And I had to start going into personally the wounds of my past that I never wanted to feel. And when you've been running for years and years and years, you can have a lot of denial that you don't want to feel. And so it's the undoing of your heart. It's standing still and being present with all of those emotions that come up. But it's worth it, guys. I'm starting to see who I really am. I have this new profound freedom coming in that I don't even care what I look like, as long as I know that this is who I am. And I do want to obviously not be a slob and not care, but it's where your heart is. Are you doing it to be seen, known, and heard and loved from a false place? Or are you doing it from being seen, known, and heard within your own heart? So this is just part of the journal of my heart today. It's a rainy day outside, and so I just felt like going inward a little bit more and being more still and giving you guys some extra calmness from my heart as it's just being nurtured and loved, getting to share this story with you. So until the next video, I'll see you, or I won't see you, but until the next video, take care, and I'll see you out on the limb the next time.